Welcome back. In part 3 of this demonstration, you'll continue by exploring how to configure the next stage of the workflow. Now, let's configure the mismatch workflow. If the invoice and PO details mismatch, the details are further processed using the next agent. For this, we will use another deployed agent, Summarize Guidelines agent. This agent refers to the invoice matching guidelines synced in the context grounding index. Select the task and configure the action as Start and Wait for Agent. Then, select the required deployed agent. Next, specify the index name. Finally, specify the folder path. Next, configure the Match Invoice agent, which will receive invoice and PO details in JSON format, along with the invoice checks. This agent compares the fields between the invoice and PO according to the rules defined in the invoice checks. To configure this agent, select Start and Wait for Agent as the action, and choose the required agent that is already deployed. Next, pass all the arguments, invoice details, invoice items, PO details, and PO items. This agent captures the detailed checks and their corresponding error details. Now, based on the output of the Match Invoice agent, configure the next steps. For this, use an exclusive gateway with the overall result returned by the previous agent. Select the match branch and define the condition in the condition field using the expression editor. Select the mismatch branch and specify the condition in the condition field using the expression editor. Once complete, click Save. If any mismatches are found based on the validation rules, the workflow continues with the Investigate Discrepancies agent. For each failed check, this agent analyzes the discrepancies using additional context, such as contracts or supporting documents. To configure the Investigate Discrepancies agent, select Start and Wait for Agent as the action, and configure it with the appropriate workflow previously developed. Once complete, pass all required input arguments, such as invoice details, invoice items, PO details, PO items, and validation checks. Now, let's configure the final agent in our workflow, the Discrepancy Resolution agent. This agent determines the best course of action for each discrepancy, such as auto-resolve, escalate to a human, or contact the vendor. Similar to the previous agent, select Start and Wait for Agent as the action and configure it with the previously developed workflow. Then pass the required input arguments, invoice details, invoice items, PO details, PO items, and discrepancy reasons. Next, when human review is needed, we trigger the Resolution Validation Action app. The reviewer can approve or reject the proposed resolution. To set up the agent, select Create Action App Task as the action and choose the agent already developed. We then set the task priority, assign labels to decide who will handle the task, and define any other needed parameters. Next, pass all required input arguments, such as the agent summary, agent table differences from the previous agent, and the PO file name and invoice file name. This brings us to the end of part 3 of the demonstration. Thank you for watching.